Welcome, class, to today's writing lesson. Today we're talking about our letter to a leader again. This is part 3, identifying your audience. What is an audience? Well, an audience is the person or the people that you will be writing to. So I want you to take a moment now, make sure you have your language notebook and a pencil handy, and we're just going to imagine a little bit about who your audience might be. So the first thing I want you to think about is who is impacted by the problem. That would be the group or the people that are most impacted. So in your language notebook, I would like you to write, I'd like you to finish the sentence. The group or people that are most impacted by this issue are blank because blank. Now you'll have a chance. I'll have this available for you to look at in a moment here. You can pause if you need to, if you want to do some writing now, or you can watch the rest of this and finish your writing after the lesson. Let's look at an example. In Anna's letter about Some Dog and representation in her the Some Dog game, she identifies her audience. She is writing to the Some Dog staff. That's the people who make this video game. Since she knows who she's addressing, she can be real specific. Notice that she says, let's see here. Well, the first thing she does is she identifies the problem. Who is affected by this problem? So she says that while Some Dog does feature avatar boys and girls, there aren't any kids wearing hijabs. And she talks about down here how when we see someone that looks like us in the media, we feel happy to be included. And more importantly, when we see ourselves in the media, we feel we can do great things. At the very bottom, she says, hopefully encourage more Muslim girls and girls in general to pursue their dreams to be a computer programmer. So when we say who is affected by the problem, what we're thinking about is who, you know, what is the problem that you're hoping to address or to change in the world, and who is it that's kind of a problem for right now. So if your topic, say, were racism, then you might say the people that are affected by my problem are people who are discriminated against by the color of their skin, and the more specific you can be, the better. If the topic were homelessness, you might try to be as specific as you can. Is there a homeless encampment somewhere here in St. Paul that you have noticed that made you think about this topic? When we're more specific, it helps us think about more practical solutions, and it also helps us think about who really is affected, which makes it more personal and more real, and maybe makes it more possible for us to affect a change. Next up is who can make a change? Who is the individual, the person, or the group that can make the most change? Some examples might be a business leader. For example, maybe you are writing a letter to, I have a great example of a letter written to Jeff Bezos, who runs Amazon. That letter was about microplastics. So those are the tiny bits of plastic that end up in the ocean from the plastics that are used in many of the packages that we get when we buy things online. In Anna's example, of course, the letter is written to the Some Dog staff, right? And the people who made this game, because they're the people who can then change the game. Your audience might be an elected representative. That would be like it could be someone in the Congress who writes laws. It could be a letter to the president. It could be someone on the school board or the city council. Again, the more local and the more specific you can be, the better. So if it's someone in St. Paul, that is going to be kind of your best elected representative to write to, because they will have the most power to change things here in St. Paul. It might be your fellow students. Maybe you're writing a letter to your classmates or to your schoolmates or other people your age to try to convince them to change their mind about something, or to really rally their support around a topic you think is important. Maybe there's adults in your life. Maybe you're writing a letter to the school or to the teachers, um, or to your parents, um, about a topic that you think is really important, that you think that they can change. Or maybe it's an organization. There are many organizations that do important work in the world. Either there's something that you think an organization is doing that you agree with, or maybe there's something an organization is doing that you don't agree with. But it might be good to do some research and find out, are there organizations that are doing work like this that I support? And even if you don't write a letter to them, it might be good to be able to kind of talk about that organization in your letter when you're trying to give people ideas for positive changes. Again, when we looked at Anna's letter, she was writing her letter to the Some Dog staff. She decided that they would be able to make a lot of change about the topic um, they because they have control over who's in that game. So you'll have some prompts to get you started on your writing today. And today we're thinking about who is the audience of my letter.